Now then, you lovely lot, thanks for joining me today. On today's video we're going to have a little bit of an update on my progress with my quilt top, and we're also going to talk about easing when you're piecing your blocks, easing your fabric and perhaps your expectations as well. Hello there, thanks for joining me. It's Thursday. Aren't you impressed? I'm actually sticking to my fortnightly schedule. I can't quite believe it myself. I am sort of coming in at the last minute this week. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, we've been decorating the kitchen this week, so that's sort of taken over the week. So I am sort of sliding in here right at the last minute, but I'm still here. And you'll be pleased to hear I washed my hair as well, because I knelt down next to the painting tray this morning and managed to put all this side of my hair into the paint tray. So it looked like I'd gone grey over one side. Kitchen's finished, just about. Haven't actually broken it to him yet, that I'm not sure if I like the colour, but that's fine. We'll live with it for a while and see how we do. Right, so on today's video, I'm going to show you that I've managed to get on a little bit further, not as much as I would have liked, obviously because of the decorating, but I have completed pretty much the centre cross of the quilt. One corner's done, and I've started piecing the corner sections just here as well. What I've been working on this week in the margins is these smaller blocks just here, and we have had a few wobbles, I will admit. We all have them, but they are coming together quite nicely. So I'm going to put a little bit of footage in here that talks you through piecing these blocks, and also how I deal with a little bit of fullness when it comes to piecing them together. So when I'm putting these little blocks together, there's a few places that I'm particularly interested in matching, so that it goes together quite nicely. And obviously our seams where they meet here, but also with these little units just here, look, I want to make sure that I don't chop those off and that they match these seams just up here. So I've got these two here that I'm about to put together, and I'm going to flip this over. Now what I've done, if I flip this over, you can see, hopefully, I've pressed my seam allowances for this block going out this way, and I've pressed the seam allowances, oh sorry, that's my iron going, seam allowances inwards like that, so that when I then come to put them together, if I then flip those over right sides together, I don't know if you can see, hopefully you can see, but those seam allowances are now going in opposite directions. Now I'm a bit old-fashioned like that. I like my seam allowances to butt up against each other. If I get rid of those stray things, I like them to butt up against each other and notch in quite nicely, and you can actually feel it between your finger and thumb if you hold it. So I'm going to put a pin in that just to hold it in place. And I think if I tease that apart, you can see that those seam allowances are going to match up quite nicely. Now, hopefully, when I sew this with my 1/4 inch, I will actually hit that mark there, which is what I want. Now, if I pull this across here and match up those seam allowances so that they butt together nicely, and I'm going to put a pin in there to hold that. Again, I'm a pinner, I'm afraid. And again, that one should hit that when I sew that with my 1/4 inch. So that's fine. Now, I don't know if you can see here, but that's my issue there, look, in the centre. Can you see how I've got a bit of excess going on in that little block there? Now, what I'm going to do is just flip that over, and I'm going to grab another pin, and I'm going to go from this point here and put a pin through, and I'm going to eyeball sort of a 1/4 inch so that it matches that seam there. Now, if I was to flip that over, there's a very good chance that that movement of the pin there is going to move that fabric past the point that I want it to. So what I do is I pinch it between my finger and thumb, take the pin out, and then repin like that. Now I have got a little bit of excess fabric going on in here, which is fine, that's okay. What I'm going to do is when I put this into the machine to sew it, I'm going to have this fuller fabric on the bed of my machine. So this is going to go through like this, and the feed dogs underneath the machine will just feed in that little bit of excess for me. I've pinned everything, so hopefully it's not going to move, and that should help ease in that little bit of fullness that I've got just under there. So let's do that now and see if it works. Okay, so that's just been sewn in, so I'm just going to take the pins out, and you can see with me whether it's worked or not. Pin out the way, open it up, they match up quite nicely, that's okay, that's hitting that point there nicely, as is that, and with a press that should sit in there really, really nicely. And there it is, all nicely pieced in, and you can see that that little bit of fullness has just gone in without any bother at all. So now I'm just going to repeat the process for the other side of the block. You know what I said about keeping it real, and I'm the one that always shows you what could go wrong. Can you see what's gone wrong? Can you see it? That's what it should look like. Look what I've done. I was so busy thinking about filming and showing you that I've sewn it together completely wrong. So, guess what? Look what's coming out. So, as you can see, it happens. You know, everybody gets a little bit of fullness sometimes when they're piecing their blocks. What's your worst piecing mistake that you've ever made? Have you ever finished a quilt and then looked at it afterwards once it's completely finished and quilted and spotted a really obvious mistake? If you have, pop it in the comments down below, I'd love to hear. So I'm going to continue with this over the weekend. I'm going to concentrate on getting these little blocks finished, and then my scrappy little plan, these little blocks finished, and then there will be triangles put either side of them. And then I need to concentrate on finishing these corner bits just here. I've got these outside square bits done. I just need to focus on doing the rest of this here. And then I've broken the back of it. So I'm feeling really, really pleased with myself actually. I've really enjoyed just coming in and following the instructions and just working my way through it, and I'm really enjoying it. So thank you all for your support and encouragement in getting this done. You've all been so lovely and supportive about it. So yes, I am going to keep going, and I will keep you updated. Thanks ever so much for joining me today. I hope you're all well, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. Bye.